we'll get into the main session, which is the mental health, the emotional and mental balance for educators. It is so important because that is why we had to talk about the stress point, so that you can get to really analyze and critically know that this is what was stressful for me in 2021, right? These were things that, and when we talk of stress, you know that there are the psychological, I can be stressed physically in my muscles and not stressed psychologically. I can still kick it, but once I get stressed up in my psychology, you see, that is when a whole lot of things come into play. All right, and our psychology as educators being in the right balance is so important for us, because we are also transferring what we know, not just what we know, but we are transferring both our moods, our experiences, our spirit. Even I like to put it in that language. We're transferring all this to the students as well. So there's so much transference that happens when I interact with the student. All right, there's a lot of influence, right, and this is both formal and informal. So being on the right psychological or emotional or mental is so important. All right, so we're getting into that session right now. Now, what I want you to do before I get to introduce the speaker to take on the mic, I want you to go straight. You can see there is what we call, if you look at the top right, where we have the topic ER 1.0 round table method. There's a topic for this discussion. Right on top of it, you will see the e-teacher network, right? And close to it, you will see something that looks like a Monopoly house. Now, what I want you to do, everyone, if you have not done this, is to go right now, click on this Monopoly house, and you will see the option to join, to become a member of this club, the e-teacher network. All right. Now, Educators Retreat is happening today and tomorrow. So this is a 2-day program, and this 2 days program, this is just the afternoon session. So this session is on Clubhouse. By 7 p.m., few hours from now, we'll get on a live session where other speakers that has been scheduled for this event would also take it away on the live session, and that will also be amazing, right? We also have speakers like Mrs. Elaine, Mrs. KK. They're going to be there. All right, so they will fully get into what they have for us today. But today, in this session, Aneta Buckthought will be taking us on the mental health for educators. So before we get right into it, I want you to do this thing immediately. Click on that Monopoly House icon and join the club. Become a member of this network, because it's free to join now. And of course, we know that very soon Clubhouse might monetize all these things, but join now and become a member of this club. All right. And if for any reason you just joined in on Clubhouse and you didn't really register for the event, which means you don't have the link and stuff, you can also click on the pinned link you have on the screen right here. You would see the option to register. We'll have your email, and then the whole event detail will be sent to you, and you can be a part of Educators Retreat 1.0. Another thing you can do is to click on the moderators. You can see all the moderators on stage, right? Click on their faces and give them a follow, right? You need to follow as much as possible, right? You can see all those moderators will have up on stage. Just tap on their faces and then follow. Tap on their faces and follow. You need to do this so that whenever they get on a room and they discuss sessions that are very important, you will get notified that they are in a room, and then you can benefit from that session. All right. And if you've done that, it's going to be my singular pleasure to introduce or bring up on stage Aneta Buckthought. All right. Aneta is going to be speaking to us on, like I said, the mental health for educators. And when Abisola was introducing her earlier on, she made mention that she identifies herself as an authentic achiever. All right. And Anita also, when we talk of mental health, this is her domain, and she's been helping people over the years to really get a good mental space an emotional space both for their work, social, the businesses, people, and both in-person coaching as well. All right. So Aneta will be taking us on this session. She's also the founder of Pureception Limited. Okay, and she'll be taking us on this session of mental health. So it is my pleasure to welcome up on stage Mrs. Aneta Buckthought.
Hi, Joshua. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this lovely introductions. Yes, I will be taking you on I would say, a new way of looking at the mental health, and especially for the educators who themselves might be a little bit more stressed than usually, because we've been in a time where we've been homeschooled our own children, as for the educators, other children and adults as well. So the educator for me has got a wide range of a meaning, and as well as for children and the students of any age that are stressed as well. So as you can hear, we have a lot of stress at the moment that is circling around. A lot of uncertainties about where we going, where we heading, a lot of unexpressed anger, a lot of emotions that are not expressed because there is no space and time and professionals to help those who need those mental health help. And what I want to talk about today is something that I been researching and working on for the past few years, and it's my personal experience, as experience through my clients, and as well a question and a research gap that I was looking for very long time, that I got the answers not some time ago, and I've been just learning and researching even more about it. Because for me, is we do talk about the mental health, and we do talk about, yes, we do talk a lot, and for me, spreading an awareness is one thing, but just taking an action is another thing. I'm not a fan of medications as a prevention. I think that's the last must for dealing with a mental health issues such as depression or other issues related to that. I believe that we've been here for many centuries in many forms, and we've got a nature. And one of the things that I'm very interested is a holistic approach as well. And not myself, but many previous researchers and the doctors and surgeons were working with colors, and this is something that we are surrounded every day. The colors have a lot of meaning in psychology. I don't know if did you hear about it? If not, then I will just say something a little bit about the meaning of the colors and the light energy. And this is something that is more tapping into the neurophysiology and neuropsychology. And it's been for since 19th, 18th centuries, used by American surgeon Dr. Babbitt, and he proved that the treatment with color light could achieve very significant healing results through its effect on human energy fields, as well as emotions and body symptoms. So if you all know, light is have a photons, and those photons are waves and frequencies, and they're going into our brain, and at the end of our brain we have a little thing called amygdala, which is responsible for our emotions. And by using colors, especially with the colorful glasses, you can stimulate your emotions, your mood swings, as well as you can work with traumatic experience. And why I'm going with this is because it's very easy, and it's something that is around us. And I believe that we should look into something that has been here for centuries, because it's here for a reason. So one of the things that I want to say is, for example, when in schools, we know that the children are very anxious at the moment. Some of them are a bit over stressed or overactive. And one of the things that is proved, that blue color, if the child sits on a blue color, for example, it gets calmer. So one of the things, so imagine if we will put the blue chairs in schools for every children, so they will get less active, so their focus will be more in place. The same for the teachers. So that one of the example that I can give you now. We can go and I can repeat the information about how you can do a self-care, so you get enough of the sleep, but sometimes that's impossible. So what blue color does, it helps people to sleep. So if simple things like a blue pajama or blue duvet will help people to increase their sleep, so means when we have a good sleep, we have a better mood. Yellow color, for example, produce serotonin, which is a happiness hormone. So imagine if you will have something yellow in your environment, then it will help to raise, like for example, yellow walls in the class will bring the more happiness. So little things like that makes a lot of difference. And for example, for educators, having some routine in a place and just looking into something rather than the things that work for them and don't work, is just making your own judgment on, okay, so what is making me really stressed, what is making me really upset. And that's first point of like getting out of something, so your own on your own justice on what's happening and what is affecting you, before we go to a different measures. The second thing is to uh, what we can change, because there's always something that we can change. If you feel that you are pressed by the wall, the question will be, why is that? Is there any solution? Is there any person that we can talk to? And what I notice, a lot of people are dealing with problems such as I don't see a solution for it. My question is like, what did you ask for the solution? Where were you were looking at? Because we, like today, we can talk about the mental well-being, but my main question is, what are we doing with it? And I found it that by using a certain techniques, and they are very easy, that you not necessarily need to sit with a therapist or a coach or a mental health being advocate, or someone who helps you. You can actually do it by yourself by having a correct information. So the knowledge is very important those days, and education, and the correct education on how we can help ourselves by using just a simple tools that they are around us. um, but I don't know, Joshua, if you just want to have the open conversation and have some questions, because I found it that sometimes by getting a questions, then we get a more content and more juice. So it's up to you.
Oh, so anyhow you want to go about it, you've already given so much, and I think I was taking so much notes already when you started explaining about the colors, and that's interesting. I've never heard. I knew that colors had a role to play, but I didn't know it in detail this way. That blue helps to sleep, and funny enough, when if Dr. Simi, Ajay can relate to this. Right before we went on the Christmas break, we were talking about sleep or die. It was one topic we were talking about in the entrepreneurs hangout, and also I know that teachers have that issue as well, sleeping, and then the colors. So maybe you can expand more on this colors and how we can apply. Of course, you've talked about the classroom settings for the
Yeah,
educators as well, and then of course maybe I also open the floor for educators to make some comments or ask some questions based on what they've heard, because all we're looking at for everyone listening is how can you reduce the stress, right?
yeah,
We're only discussing the stress points from 2021 so that we can know how better can you do it in 2022, right?
yeah,
Because if you get it right from the beginning of the year, then you would have more productivity, and you would not end up having a whole part of your year messed up, right?
yeah.
So get the beginning correct, and then the rest flows up. So it's up to you. Just take it up from there.
Okay, so I can explain a little bit more about the certain colors that might be of any interest to everyone here, and especially the effect on the emotions that are really challenging at the moment. And one of them, what I found it is is in everyone, in adult and the children, is the anger. And what I noticed that by using a light pink color, like rose color, it calms down the aggressiveness. So it's very good to for children and for the adults to wear their special glasses that they've been used for many years by doctors. Interesting enough, they've never been introduced to a bigger public, because I would say that if something is very successful and too simple, sometimes it's hidden away from a majority, and we really need to dig into to find the information. So one of them is the pink color or light pink color is really soothing, and especially for aggression, as well as yellow color. Light yellow, it helps. It gives you so to understand why the colors is going back to science. All the colors, they have waves and vibrations. Everything vibrates as a quantum physics, and they have a different numbers of vibration. They have different vibration, and those vibration coming through our eyes to our brain, they stimulates our the amygdala that is at the back of our head, and that sends the information to our body. So what happened is the German scientist and Dr. Hermann, he was focusing on the brain function and emotions in our body by illnesses. So he believed and he proved that if your emotions are taking over, then you will get certain sicknesses like skin problems, or some different parts. So there's a whole book about it, and he believed that this is what's happening. So our emotion, if we cannot deal with them, they will come in our body as a symptom. So for me, the illness is information. So now so imagine when you take and wear a certain colorful glasses for say up to 10 to 20 minutes a day, then not only you help your emotions, but as well you will be helping your body symptoms. So everything is related. But as you see, we in a rainbow, rainbow is a split light and have 7 colors. Yeah, we have seven chakras. So if you're gonna go more into spiritual and holistic stuff, there everything is related if we really start looking at it. And to explain a little bit more about the colors and how they work, especially with the mental health well-being, what do we need to know? So I would say that one of the good colors and is used for the mental well-being as a logo, as a sign, is a green color. So my question was, why do you know why? Because people using like Facebook is using, for example, a blue color for the communication. The mental well-being association is using a green color because it talks about security, it talks about the growth. It's calming, as a calming color. It reminds us about growth, about the nature. If you look around, everything is green, is a springtime. So it's something that it brings the positive. So what we need to do with the colors is to uh, choose the correct colors that we need for the certain mood. So for example, if you have problem with you very undecisive and you don't know, and or you have a very important interview, it is very important to connect with a red color or wear something red. Red is very interesting color for people who are very shy as well. It gives them the this is if we're going to look into a chakras, for example, it is the base chakra, so it's the main chakra for us. So it gives us the power. However, overusing certain colors is not good for us. For example, red can bring this as well, the aggression. So we need to know what emotions are we dealing with, and what emotions are we like. If you're very aggressive and you will be wearing a lot of red color, you will get even more aggressive. So it's important. But if you're very shy, then the red will be a perfect color for you. So the same with for example, with orange. If someone's is very ego orientated, wearing a lot of orange, it won't bring the balance, because it's gonna be over. So orange is for people who, as well as a little bit of shy. And then they are, they don't have the confidence. The same, the color such as yellow. But if we're talking about like stress, so one of the main colors to use in a stress situation, I would say it would be green color, blue color, and violet. So combination of colors, it helps even stimulate your brain and emotion even more. So for me is to pick and choose the correct colors, and wear the, like I work with, personally I work with glasses for people. Some people, if they look at their wardrobe at the moment and thinking, okay, I don't have those glasses, how I can help myself, it's just look what are you wearing, and as well as you work with your intuition, because at the end of the day you really know what you need. But for me, if someone is over wearing a one color, is not good for their mood. Like black color, it doesn't bring too much of it is good in a certain situation in your life, but over wearing it can bring you down, your emotion down, especially with the gray is associated with depression. So when we're wearing too much of a gray, you know the saying, I feel gray, or I feel blue, or I feel this. So it's been around, around us for very long time, but we never had an understanding of how we can use those colors to help ourselves. And I found it that fascinating that if you, for example, use the aqua color, it's very for people. It helps people with openness, with a health. Self-love. Orange as well is good for people who are with a low self-esteem. What else? There's a lot of information about those colors. So we, at the moment, where I'm working with the 10 main colors. But if you go back to just simplify what I'm saying, it's just, we had the rainbow. That's why I call it the rainbow method, because there's 7 colors. And as well, in the music, you've got 7 notes, main ones that are changing. Then you have a 7 chakras. So the number 7 is very crucial here. The same with the colors. And if you know, the artists are mixing colors. They mixing blue with green, yellow with orange, white with pink, for example. White with red gives us a pink color. So all those combination, they all have the waves, they all have those physical vibrations that they really work on us very well. And in 1920 in USA, Dr. Dean Shah, he was very well known at that time for his work. He had a projector in a hospital in Philadelphia, where he was curing the children and the adults with colors. And what happened in 1944, the FBI came and took all his work, and he was he had a legal process which he win. But for me, the information is something was taken away. What was that? He had amazing result. All his books and some of his work was banned. So you is lost in the fire. So some of the information were carried on by his son, and he then was carried on by a doctor called Kate Baldwin. She carried on with his legacy and with his work. And after Second World War, there was not a lot of information about the color therapy or chromotherapy. So that got me really interested about it. And I believe that that we need something new, refresh. It's not actually a new thing, it's actually something that we need to refresh. And I believe that special more than ever, we need to reconnect to something that we have it around us. And I found it that recently I've been working with someone who's got a very anger issues, and I sense there's a lot of anger around the people, because we've been limited by in many ways. And the rose color, what that did to that person, to that client, it was amazing, because even that person said to me, usually by this time of the year I'm very angry, and I don't know why I'm not. This is so amazing, and it's every day is using the colors just to calm down. So for me, it's just, you don't need to. You can do it in your own space with your in your own house, which is amazing, because it's like we don't see one to one too many people. We don't go and travel at the moment, so we are limited. But for me, the most important thing was to how we can help people. This is a vast number of people, and I found it that is good for children, and that's another thing that is a positive. The colors are very good for children. So I don't know if someone might have any questions. Please do so. I can explain something more if you will have any questions, and I find that will be easy to maybe carry on like that.
Oh my, amazing. Wow, I've never heard, thank you so much, Anita. I've never heard anyone talk about colors the way you just did, right? I didn't even know colors was a very big thing like this because um I mean when you were mentioning the colors gray, orange, I mean ego oriented, really, red, of course, for different personas, whether a shy person, aggressive person, gray, right? Yellow and all this. Well, my own take on this will be it's really I do think it's really amazing, or it's really important colors. Although we've never looked at it in this perspective or in this light before, because I'm sure the teachers here can say that if you come to their classrooms, the proprietors right now insist that the classrooms are colorful enough, right?
Yeah,
Unlike the days that you come around and we just have a plain paint on the wall,
yeah,
right? So
yeah,
you come into a classroom is fully prepared with a lot of colors. I mean, you see charts and stuff, just things that excites the students and the children, right? And now you are also taking us as educators back to the point that, okay, this can actually also be helpful for us as educators in maximizing our mental health and reducing stress. All right. But also, I also want to, you know, I want to take a cue from the stress points that some of the educators raised during the beginning. So some people talked about, I remember Mr. Toyin talked about getting the students to obey the COVID guideline, right? Or, at that point in time, that seems like a very stressful situation. And apart from that, you have teachers that teach very young students, right? Whether the
mm,
kindergarten, we have more of K-12, we have secondary, we have I'm not sure we have any universities in here, but um what it means is that these kids can be so unresponsive at some point in time, which can piss you off as a teacher, if you allow me to use that word. Can piss you off, can stress you out, right? So at that point, it's for some teachers, for most teachers, it affects their health. It affects their brain. You see some people complaining, I had a very stressful day at work, that child, that this. So both from the stress from the students, stress from your co-workers,
yeah,
stress from the bosses, stress from the parents, right? For the school owners, you can even bring it down to still this area, right? Stress from all those different stakeholders within your place of work, and then back to your own personal life. And then, of course, to speak for the educators, stress of having very little time, because every educator will tell you they don't have time, right? So especially those in the formal sector of educator, that they don't have their time is very limited. We'll still get into that, but all the stress and stuff, right? Of course, there has to be a strategy. You've mentioned colors, right? Now, what I want to ask you is, do you have like um a step, right? A series of step or strategies that educators can employ in 2022 when it has to do with optimizing their mental health and minimizing stress. All right, is there a series of strategies or something that, something that they can, okay, in situations like this, or something like, maybe I can apply this, I can do this before
yeah.
going out, I can come out,
I think the first thing that I would say is just when you work with small children, the children are usually a mirror of something, and this is how I learned. So they get very affected by what's happening in a larger system, which is the family system, school system, education system, and they're just playing out some dynamics. So that's from a psychodynamic approach. The children are playing out something that, children are very little, and how they are learning the stress, they are learning the stress from the adults. So there's a 30 children in the class, everyone's got a different family, they bringing each of them bringing something from their own home. And imagine when they all meet together, there's a 30 little chaps that they have very different family dynamics coming into one place, so it's already chaos. So it's like being aware of that. So be noticing what is happening in a group of children, how they play with each other, so which one are hanging out with each other, then you will get more information. Because sometimes something is happening in the classroom, but we not fully understand, or we don't have the time, or sometimes we just don't have enough information, like what that could be. So as a teacher, educators, when the children are yawning, or they don't have attention, or they don't want to follow, that for me, that's the information. So what is really happening behind that? And I think that we don't, in a 45 minutes or whatever time is for one class, and it's one or max two teachers in the classroom, is really hard to pick it up on the what is really happening. So I think that we should be teaching educators a little bit more about the dynamic, and what the children are trying to tell us. And as well, every break, every weekend, the Monday till Friday in the routine, and the Monday, Saturday, Sunday, they out of routine. From Monday we start again. So it's that cycle that is repetitive about it. And as well, not all the children are at the same level of learning. So if you're in the group of, like, oh, there's a one girl or boy who's really good, and then there's a boy who's a little bit slower, how they will feel, it's about, like, how do they feel? Well, of course they might feel left out, because there's not, for me, this is not enough attention for the little children in a classroom. So I'm not a fully in a children education, so I don't know how is that from a teacher or educator point of view. But you can see, for example, in a biggest group of students, where people are coming from a different, like, say, when I did my master's back days, and I was I would say I was in my adulthood, and and I was working, and I had small children. So, and then I had different people in my classroom that they had a very, very different age, with very different understanding. And and I felt that a stress in the class, because everyone people do already had a different upbringing, and the first education was from a different fields. So I would say that to be mindful about, like, who are those people around us, what they represent, because everyone is different. We cannot put people in one bag and say you all the same. No, everyone's got a very different way and piece of learning. Everyone's got a very different way of reacting to a certain events, or everyone expressing themselves. So I think that that's, for me, that's the main thing, just to having a basic understanding that we as a human beings are very different. And even if we've got a class of 30 people, still we are all different in any ages and any stages. So I think that's the one thing. And then if I'm getting stressed because of that, my main question will be, like, how I can help myself. Because sometimes, when you're with 30 people in one group or class, it's not possible for you to rescue everyone, or you please or help everyone. So the question would be to myself, how I can deal with it. What do I need? Do I need go and talk to the head teacher or the boss or manager, or do I need to take some time off, or do I need to rethink how do I schedule my program, my teaching program? If half of the class doesn't pay attention, maybe it's something with me. Maybe the program is not right for this group. So maybe we need to rethinking it, instead to push something in. Because I'm the person who is more into, like, we need to adjust things, not just to push into something that, let's say you've got a piece of paper and this says something A, B, C, D. But if you see that A, B, C, D doesn't work, okay, just reflect on it, and okay, come back and say, okay, let's try a different way. Just because the system says you have to work this way, it doesn't mean that will work for you, and this is what makes you stress sometimes. So I hope that will help. That's what I learned anyway.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. And if you're just joining us, this is the Educators Retreat 1.0. And Educators Retreat is a program that was designed for educators to reflect on the past year, and through sessions like this, regain and accelerate in this 2022 to be the best of what you can be, both in the classroom, for yourself as an individual, and also for the community, because I need you everyone to understand why we are having topics and stuff like this, because educators, like someone rightly said, are the custodians of knowledge, and if you are custodians of knowledge and you teach and impact the young people, you are what you're basically doing is to shape their thinking and mindset as they are growing up. You are telling them, you are creating the young adult that we see today. You are creating the adult, the full-blown adult that we see today. During our past sessions, such as the e-teacher colloquium, one of our speakers said that that's Mrs. Elaine. She said that as an educator, what you say to a child can make or break that child. And what you say to that child also, or your activities as an educator, determines whether you make a CEO or you make someone that has very low self-esteem issues, someone that cannot present, someone that cannot represent themselves, someone that whether a thug, a thief, or whatever. So all these are programming that happens within the classroom. And if you get to program some other person, another human being, it's only right that your programming is set correct, right? It's only right that your programming, that when I'm talking about your programming, I'm talking about your mental health is in order, right? Your mental health needs to be in order. You need to know how to balance yourself so that you don't go way overboard, all right? And Mrs. Anita has taken us on the different series of steps that we can take, and it has been amazing to hear from her. She's talked about colors, and trust me, I've never heard about colors in the way I just heard about it. I'm an aquaculture person. I'm also into agriculture. So one of the things I love so much is what do you call it now? Aquarium, right? And then in an aquarium we fix in a lot of things, fish, colors, corals and stuff. But it just hit me now that one of the main things that makes it so appealing, because that stuff reduces a lot of heart stress and mental stress just looking at it alone. But it just hit me that one of the things that makes it what it is because of the colors, not just the fish and stuff, but the colors as well. And Miss Anita also has taken us down to the understanding of colors and how it plays a role, which is why we get into our classroom and then we see there's so many bright colors, so many good things. And also, you need to understand what those colors represent. She talked about the rainbow method. I'm sure she's going to give us either a book or a podcast or something where we can listen or learn more on this rainbow method, because I mean, if I just feel like stretching you more on this color stuff. I never thought of colors this way, and I'm sure other educators would also make some comments on that as well. So we've gotten into our question and answer time. This is our question and answer time. Now, you've heard quite a lot from balancing your mental health as an educator, right? You get into the classroom, you're faced with so many issues, right? Tomorrow we're going to be talking about, in this same clubhouse by this same time tomorrow, we're going to be talking about the educators' rewards, and it's going to be an open mic, so you're going to come up and say your mind. That's just how it is. So if you're not following the club, I would advise you to please just on the top of the screen where you're seeing Eastern Network, you see a Monopoly House icon, a greenhouse icon. Just click on it and become a member of the club, and then scroll to the event for tomorrow and hit the notification button so that you don't miss out when we start. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about educators rewards, and it's going to be open mic, say your mind, right? And all these are things that leads to stress, right? You can see an educator that is paid so poorly, and then they are demanded to do so much, right? A lot of strategies has to be in place, right, for you to make sure that you keep your cool, and then of course you are achieving the goal that you want there. And remember that being in the system as an educator is not just as a profession, right? You're not just there as a profession. I'm there as a teacher. No, I'm being paid for a job. This goes beyond that, because you're raising the leaders for tomorrow. And part of the topics that we're going to be talking about is raising generational leaders, and that will be tomorrow. And I'm glad that Nancy it's in the house. She's on stage right now, but she'll be speaking to us tomorrow on raising generational leaders, right? So these are things that contributes to your stress as educators. How do you get to do the real thing that you are there to do as an educator? um Bring out the best in that child, and also be the best for yourself, without losing yourself. All right. So if you've missed any part of this session, of course, it's being recorded, so you can replay it right after now. But this is our question and answer time. And now, apart from question and answer, both comments, contributions, you have something to say based on emotional health, or emotional health. I can see a lot of people in the room, and you have some experiences on this that you want to share. You have a question based on all that Aneta has just shared. Please just put your hands up. I'm going to come to you, and I'm going to invite you up on stage. So put your hands up right now. I'm just going to take a few persons. I'm seeing some hands up. Just put your hands up. Just go ahead to put your hands up. You have a question, or you have a comment to make. All right, you have a comment to make, put your hands up, and I'm going to bring you up on stage. It's important that we talk about this. It's important that we brainstorm on ideas such as this, so that entering into 2022, you understand the strategies to employ. You know exactly what to do. Okay, so I'm going to take the speakers that I have up on stage first, and while I'm inviting Miss Keke to speak, I'm also going to be looking at the polls to see those that are putting their hands up. If you put your hands up, I'm going to invite you up on stage. And once you come up on stage, please mute your mic, and I would tell you or invite you up on the mic to speak when it's time for you. All right, Miss Keke.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Anita. That was very rich. You shared some things that I was amazed about. I didn't understand how critical colors were, especially in a learning environment. I mean, you shared so deeply. Thank you so much. So my question is, in a situation where, so I'm thinking about the public school system, right? Especially some of the public schools that I've been, and I'm wondering to myself, sometimes there's no luxury. You don't have the luxury to be able to say, oh, you know what, I want my tables this color, I want to wear this color, those sort of things. So what other alternative strategies can be used? I mean, I do understand what you meant about um being in an early years classroom, and so other differentiation strategies that you can use, especially where we have students who are not learning at the same pace, which honestly always happens, and what teachers can do. So I know that you don't want to get into that. I mean, that's something I'm quite versed in, but I'm just wondering, what other alternatives can teachers use, especially in an education setting where they're unable to have their choice of colors on the walls, or on the as the clothes, or as tables and other paraphernalia that would make up the learning infrastructure. Thank you so much.
Thank you for that question. Yeah, I do understand that, absolutely. I think back there I've been in some classrooms where were yellow walls and blue, those two colors. But I think the easiest and the fastest ways, especially with small children, is to get them to color in something blue. So you can ask them, can you draw me a lake by using a blue color, or and the sun. So that's two colors that are very good combination for children when they have the learning difficulties. Or can you draw me a sea, or and a sand and a beach? So you take them to it. So, and it gets they when they get very naughty, and the attention goes somewhere else. Children do like drawing. from what I've seen. So so I would that's the fastest and the easiest way to get them to really focus on, okay, can you draw for me a sun and a sea or a lake or something, or can you draw me just take them to quickly to draw something nature related, a green trees, or so those three colors, and then you will see that the attention is going, and they don't need that much time. I think take if they really troubling, and to take them for that few minutes and let them draw something. I think that's a very good and a fast idea, and for a teacher not to get stressed, because when we know solution and we have a solution, we already know how to action, and that's for us already. Who my job, I don't have to think, well, how I can settle him down. It's like, okay, can you do this, that, and that, draw me this, and so for the child is something to do very different if he struggles. And then I understand that we don't have so much time for all those conversations, but I will try this and see how it works, because I think that's the one, the fastest and the most possible way of dealing with that. I hope that did answer your question.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much. I mean, I love how you've actually incorporated the colors in the learning outcome. So I love it. Thank you so much, Anita.
So great. Thank you so much for sharing that. And Nancy, I saw you flashing your mic. I don't know if you wanted to add something or make a comment real quick based on what you heard.
No, I was clapping at KK's question. I thought it was a really great question.
All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, by the ways, for being here. We're still taking questions. We're still taking questions and comments. All right. So I've invited a couple of people off stage. Some hands were up, and I've clicked on you and I sent you an invite. All you have to do is to accept that invite and come up on stage. Now, you don't have to be shy. You don't have to be protective. I don't know, but just come up on stage and ask it, right? Ask it. Let's hear it. You understand the pain points for you as an educator, right? Anita has just shared a wide variety of things, including colors, strategies that you can apply as an educator when it has to do with your mental health. But this is a very serious topic, and colors are so amazing, and she has just explained it in the way she has. Now you know your specific areas, you know your specific issues, right? Do you have more questions on the strategies you can apply, right? So please don't wait too long. Just put your hands up or accept my invitation and just come up on stage. Okay, I can see Emmanuel on stage. Emmanuel, you're welcome. Just tell us your name, where you're joining from, and the role you play in the educational sector, and you can go ahead with your question. Emmanuel, over to you. Emmanuel, you can unmute your mic right now and speak to me.
Okay, good afternoon, all. I'm Emmanuel Oboye. So I'm speaking from Delta State, Warri. Thank you very much, Anita, for that wonderful color explanation. I really have a child in my class. I know she's having an issue with mental health, but because of our locality here, we don't really have the facilities when it comes to color picking. So I don't know. She's having this issue of anger switch. She switches anytime. She's brilliant. I'm looking for a way to help her, but she really doesn't concur at all. She's having this anger. It's like it's coming from home. Anytime she's in school, she doesn't want to learn. She just wants to be herself. So I don't know. With the way you've explained this color, is there a way I can really help her with this color combination? How I can help her settle that the mental health issue, please? I don't know if there's any way I can use color to bring her out. I really want to help her, especially in this new term. Thank you very much.
Yeah, like that's a good question. I believe that is a girl, is it?
Yes, a girl.
Yeah, so I said is the so if she obviously she's manifesting the, like you said, the anger that coming from the situation from a home, and maybe she's been not understood as well as an individual, you know, and this is how she manifested at school just to get attention. Maybe she doesn't get the enough attention at home. I don't know how many siblings she has, what's the family situation. So that's something that is more for, you know, for the psychologist to dig in. But for you as an educator, I would just hook her on drawing some pastel colors, so something for people with the anger issues, same with the children, it will be good to just use the pastels, so really light colors like a pink, really light blue, yellow, green, you know, not too strong colors. But with her, I don't know how what's her favorite, you know, you can ask her what's her favorite animal or favorite, I don't know, cartoon that she could draw every time as she's angry. Maybe she can go into a drawing. So she just you can ask her to express herself by using a certain colors as well, so that gets to children. So it's like when they're very angry, so you can say, okay, so can you draw your anger, can you tell me how the anger looks like, and get them drawing. The is an amazing way with working with children is by drawing. They love drawing. And then when you ask her as well the question, can you express how the anger looks by drawing, then she's got that space for expressing herself, for expressing that emotion by drawing. Because obviously she won't be able to shout or having an argument, but as a child she can sit and draw something that looks like anger for her. And I would say that will be a lot of help to her. I hope that's
Mm,
something that you could do.
thank you very much. That was great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I wanted to speak to Emmanuel as well, and
Okay.
it's not really in regards to color, but more of like a behavior management technique. And I don't know if there's counseling options, but I would say as a teacher, we play multiple hats, and sometimes we become counselors and parents and teachers all and friends all at the same time. But the first thing, I don't know if you have one-on-one conversations with her. That's always a great way to build a relationship with students, especially those who are troubled. Typically, again, like you mentioned, it's the attention, wanting the attention, or something else is happening that is triggering that behavior. So that one-on-one conversation is always a benefit in getting to know them. Second, in that one-on-one setting as well, and in group setting, positive praise, right? So when she is doing things that are wonderful and great, acknowledging that privately and in a whole setting, because that will it's like that thing when you praise people, they want to continue to get that praise. It's just a good positive feeling. And so acknowledging when she does do well, and if it's at the point where she may need a behavior plan, so you guys can identify some goals together and have her reflect, one, why is she even angry, and then two, what are some goals that she has, and have her track her behavior. Reflection is always a great way, and I don't know how old the child is, but when you're able to get kids to reflect and then track her behavior, you can rate her behavior. She can rate her behavior depending on the age. It can be through numbers, it could be through a smiley face, whatever it is. Throughout her day, have her reflect on her behavior and have her check in with you. Um, there's so many different things that you can do for behavior management techniques, but those are just a few. But I would definitely start with more rapport building. Then from there, acknowledging her positive behavior in private and public setting. And then perhaps a behavior plan where you can have her check in frequently with you. Thank you. I hope that was helpful.
All right, Emmanuel, you've gotten two valid strategies to deal with this situation, and I'm sure every other person learned from this. First, you can also, like Mrs. Anita said, you can get her to explain her feelings through colors, right? Through let her probably, if she can, paint whatever it is that she feels in her heart. But then also you can you do this from a place of rapport, like Nancy has rightly said, okay, you do this from a place of rapport. Make sure you build rapport and critically get to know who she is, what she wants for herself, and you know, at least you take it from there moving forward. So I'm sure the strategies you've gotten will help you, and will really want to, of course, know more of how you get to do with this particular student. But of course, how you get to do that is to make sure that you are following the club, make sure that you are a member of this club, because outside the educators retreat would have sessions moving on to make sure that we keep tackling these situations, because this everything about the educational sector is not something that can be fit into 2 days, right? We try as much as to see, okay, let's talk about the most valuable topics, but not everything will be discussed, right? But for follow-up support, make sure that you are a part of this club, all right? And this goes for every other person in the room. Just click on the Monopoly House, the greenhouse icon. It's next to the e-teacher network, and become a member of the club. And of course, please just follow all the speakers. Just as you're seeing all the moderators on stage, tap on their faces and follow each and every one of them, because when they get on rooms, Clubhouse works in a different way. When they get on rooms, you'll be notified that they are in a room, and that means you have access to valid insights and learning experiences from these people, all for free. At least for now, that it is free to join in rooms without any kind of pass. All right. So, we've been talking about mental health for educators. This session is about to wrap up in about 8 minutes or less. I'm just going to spare 1 more minute for someone, right? You are in the audience, you have something to say, you want to make a comment, or you have a question. I'll give it to the fastest person that can put their hands up. And if there's no one like that, we're going to move on with this session. So, who can put their hands up? I'm saying, okay, I have one person here. Let me invite you up. I'm inviting you up on stage immediately. Accept the invitation and come up and give us your share immediately. Jan, I've just sent you an invitation, and you have 1 minute to ask your question or make a comment, and we're going to wrap up this session quickly. All right, I think she's either having a net. Okay,
Hello
okay,
there.
Jan, you're here. All right, you're here now. Go ahead. Just introduce yourself. Let us know your name, where you are joining from, what is the role you play in the educational space, and what is your comment or question based on what we are discussing today?
Hello there, Jan speaking. I'm a communications coach and freelance journalist. And shout out to Nancy. That's my girl. That's my girl up on stage there. Hi there, Nancy. Happy 2022. My comment is mental health for educators. I've been 22 years in the education system for international migrants, government projects in the UK, and teaching C-suite leaders. What I find across all of those sectors is stress. Stress management is really important for your mental health. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how it is in the UK, but in the US, but in the UK, educators take a lot of their work home. They are overburdened. Number one, they work in school and outside of school. Number two, often educators are substitute parents, and I think that is so wrong. A lot of the problems that young people have, it's like the teacher. Why didn't the teacher sort it out? Why is the teacher not intervening? I think it's very important to have a mental health balance and a discussion where the boundaries of parenting and teaching exist. I'm Jan, I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Jan, for that share. That's amazing. Thank you for coming up to share that amazing insights. Very powerful with us. Thank you so much. And of course, we'd love to see more of you. So do stick around and be a part of what we are trying to achieve here. Like you said, you also are in this field of mental health and stuff, and this is something that we will definitely want to keep having for educators in the house. So thank you so much for coming up on stage and sharing. Now, for everyone in the house, I want to especially thank you for being in this room so far. Now, just a little housewarming. If you're just joining us, well, we've already gone almost to the end of the session. This is the Educators Retreat 1.0, and this is a 2 days program, and this is the opening session, right? This is the first session for Educators Retreat. Now, there are 4 sessions, and this is just the first one, which means there's another session that is going to be coming up in a few hours by 7:00 p.m. West African Standard Time. This is going to be happening not on Clubhouse, but on Google Meet. Now, it means that the meeting, the joining info is sent to only those that are duly registered into this event. All right. So the only way you can do that is it's very easy, and it is free of charge to join, right? So you don't have to pay any money to be a part of this. All right. So first thing you can do is to go ahead and join this club, be a member of this club by clicking on that green house icon and be a member of the club. And also click on the pinned link. You can see it, Educators Retreat 1.0 link tree. Click on it. You would see the option to register. Now, when you register, immediately just within the space, our team will reach out to you with the joining info and also add you with the calendar information for the sessions later on in the evening and tomorrow as well. Now, in case you don't know, let me just give you a little tip of what you're going to be learning this evening, right? This evening, we're going to be talking about the true purpose of schools. That is one topic. And we'll have Mrs. Elaine. She was in the house earlier on. She will be talking about the true purpose of schools. So this is one session that you don't want to miss as an educator, right? Also, we would have Mrs. Okeyinfo Ajayi, Ms. KK, right up on stage. She'll be talking to us on who is a customer and what does success look like, right? In the educational space, it's who is a customer. It's easy for you to say it's a parent, is it a kid, is it this, is that. Who is the customer and what does success look like? She is going to be analyzing this and also giving us what I call it, pointers or stuff to measure our success also as educators, so that we know when we're doing it right, and what we'll see, what are the key indications we see, and we know that yes, okay, now I've hit something right, I've done something right. All right, and we'll be talking about this in the evening. Now, you want to be a part of this, all you have to do is to click on this pinned link and just click on register, fill in the form. It's a straight up form. Just go to the website, you fill in the form, and our team will reach out to you via email immediately with your joining info and all that information. Now, before we leave here, another thing you have to do is to go ahead to follow the speakers, all the speakers you can see on stage. I can still see some hands up. I'm sorry, I might not be able to take up those hands now, but what you can do is you can send me a back channel, because this session continues even tomorrow, right? Tomorrow by this same time, by 12 p.m. West African time, we're going to have another session, and tomorrow we're going to be talking about educators reward. I can't wait for that session, because I want you to talk about it yourself, right? We'll be talking about educators rewards. Say your mind, right? So I want to get one situation whereby you come and you are ready to participate, right? Most of you are new to Clubhouse. I can see so many new celebratory icons on your stuff, but from tomorrow, I want you to become open, right? There's no need to be shy. You can't even be shy as an educator, all right? So this is a community, and there's no one being judged here or being there are no rules here. When I say there are no rules, I mean there are no limits to what can be achieved through networks and communities like this. So what we want you to do is to come up on stage. You don't know who is listening, right? And what we're doing is to get you to talk, express exactly what it is for you, the feeling for you. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about everything around the educators rewards, right after which we'll jump into creating multiple streams of recurring income for you as an educator. So you don't want to miss these sessions that I'm mentioning, okay? So what you can do right now is make sure you're following the club, follow all the moderators you can see on stage, follow every single one. get on the and when you get on the club, make sure you hit the notification bell, and make sure also that you have duly registered in the event. And I'll be seeing you this evening by 7 p.m. West African Standard Time on Google Meet. All right, 7 p.m. West African Standard Time. I'll be seeing each and every one of you on that session. So we've been here for 2 hours right now, and I'll be ending the session. We've had 90% come in and out of this room, and we have 23 that are here now. So I'm just going to do a little bit of shout out. I'm going to take this from the down. I have Emmanuel, I have Jerry, I have Sarah, I have Tukwebuka, I have Karen. Karen has been here from the very beginning. Karen, thank you for being here. I have Emmanuel, I have Jennifer, Peace, Esther, thank you for coming up on stage. I have Miss Black, I hope I got that. Okay, Miss Blackwood, okay. Thank you. Adeosun, Grace, Obonia, Jan, Nancy, Favor, Miss KK, and amazing Mrs. Aneta. Thank you so much all for being here. I'm going to be ending this room right now, and I'm going to see you in a few hours on Google Meet. Make sure that you have signed up in the room. Thank you, and I'll see you